Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Travellers, Season 1, Episode 10. It's called Kathryn. Full spoilers for the episode as always. We're nearing the home stretch. This is the final third of the show. Our reviews of 11 and 12 will be up tomorrow. Both of those are coming tomorrow, will be finished then. But this is Episode 10, and this is the aftermath of the plane going down and MacLaren being gravely injured, in the tail section. He survives, but that's the extent of it from what we knew last time. So the thing that I thought was the most interesting part was the same thing they kind of brushed past really quickly at the start, because Kat can just have this serum that makes her forget the last day. Mildly disappointing, but at the same time I can't be too mad because I feel like it makes sense to have that.
It does make sense, but at the same time I kind of found myself a little bit disappointed with the episode overall. I'm
kind of mixed on it. There's lots of things about it I liked.
I don't think it was all bad, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was a weird place in the season to have this episode.
Are you speaking about the memories in his head?
Yeah.
Okay, so MacLaren's getting procedure done. This other group of EMTs, which are travellers and have advanced technology, they grow a clone of Trevor's kidney, or whatever the organ was, inside his body.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was disgusting when he picked up his shirt and you see the big lump of this extra organ.
It's pretty cool, though.
But as he's on the operating table, we see in his head and he's having all these memories. But it's not his memories. It's like the real MacLaren's memories. We see memories of him and his wife. We find out that they lost a baby at one point, which
Yeah.
I really appreciated how they handled that reveal, because it kind of went backwards and you hear them talk, we're going to have the baby talk again, and then you see why it's an issue, and I like how they brought it up. It didn't feel too heavy-handed to me. The way it kind of naturally came in the conversation, maybe we should start talking about having a baby, we're getting old. Like, I don't know if I want to see you go through that again, and it was like, you just revealed that there'd been an incident, there'd been a time. And it went, and then we got the scene, like, sort of going back through time, where he was dismantling the room, the kid's room that was there for the kid that was coming, but obviously miscarriage or whatever.
Yeah.
And he talks about how another scene I really liked. He talks about how when she was like in the operating room herself after birth, and he was waiting on his own for like 12 hours to find out if she was even going to make it. She might have died from the incident. When she was giving birth. I really liked his point of view in that scene. He was like, this might make me a selfish asshole, but I'll get past the baby. I was worried about losing you. And I get that line of thinking, because the baby's not a real thing yet. If that it's not a person yet that you've grown attached to.
Yeah.
And maybe this is something that like a woman who's been pregnant would probably fight me on tooth and nail, and I get why you would. But
I think the difference is this is a baby that, I mean, it's 9 months. That's it. Whereas this is his wife, who he's been married to for years. There is a big difference.
And we see through all these scenes how they support each other and how they have this connection, which I think is actually, as much as you're saying you're kind of disappointed in parts of the episode, I actually really like how it builds what that connection is. And obviously, because at the end of all the sort of dream stuff, we see that he's aware that it's not his memories, and he's like, I can't really tell the difference between my feelings and his feelings anymore. I like that because, it makes the love triangle, as it were, a bit more interesting, because it's not just...
Yeah.
But I think it does a really good job of building up what their relationship was, so that in her present-day story, when she's with Forbes, and they're talking about, he is different. Like, he's suddenly a better shot. He's better at this. There's these little... Them talking about the differences and that he's changed, I'm actually really enjoying that. And seeing that against the real scenes or the real memories of him and her actually works really well together. To get them both side by side, I think it's a genius idea.
Well, this is the thing, and I kind of agree with all that. I just feel like it was the wrong place in the season.
You think that we're ramping up, tensions high? And,
we just had this big epic thing on the plane. It's like, okay, we're into the end stretch now. This is it. And then it's like, all right, let's take a backseat and explore Kat and MacLaren. And it's like, okay, but I feel like this could have been maybe like episode 5 and 6 area. Okay,
right, I see what you're saying. I think I kind of agree, but we got it here, so I'm appreciating it for what it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like we've spent all season saying how David is the only one that's been fleshed out as a supporting character. And now, sure, we've got this with Kat now, but it's right at the end of the season. I feel like this should have been much earlier.
Maybe it's just a case of where it fits with because it has to happen after the plane thing because it's a result of that. So it's maybe just this kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Maybe week to week I'd have more of a problem with this, but because we are going straight on to the next one tomorrow, I'm not like,
I get that, but I'm just trying to evaluate it overall as where I'd place it. It just feels off.
Okay, so it's done very well, but it should have been a few episodes earlier.
Yeah,
Right.
because I feel like I've got a bit of a disconnect when I'm watching it. It's like, okay, this is great, but I feel like we're moving into the end game now, and why am I watching this? It's kind of in the back of my mind as I'm watching it.
Okay, weird placement, but I think what the episode actually does on its own. Like my only disappointment was really that I thought it was going to be really cool. She's going to find out about stuff, and then it just gets squashed immediately. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we got that prediction a bit wrong, didn't we?
To be fair, our batting average with this show has been very good.
It has been pretty great. Yeah.
So I'll accept the loss. There was no David or many of the other supporting characters in this one. We did have Kat and Forbes looking for MacLaren, and Philip goes to get his car from the airport because they're covering all his tracks. But he ends up in this. Basically, the airport security think he's stealing the car, think he's up to something, and he gets into this altercation where he has to like fight them off, and he runs off. But it means that the police have been contacted about this stolen car. Forbes looks into the dash cam and all that, so they know what he looks like. They know who Philip is, and obviously it's fixed by the end of the episode because MacLaren gets up just in time, like he's been woken up, and this is the reveal that he's okay now. Funnily enough, Forbes comes into the garage to look for him. And he's there, and they sell this story that he's his informant that he works for. Philip works for him, and he was trying to prove that his tech and his security was weak by doing all this. Which was a fun way to cover it up, and a fun way to reveal that he's okay. I do have to admit, though, I did think Philip was being a little bit stupid. I can forgive forgetting that maybe the FBI car will have like a sat-nav thing that they can track, and that there's even a camera on the dashboard and all the rest of it. I'll kind of forgive that because maybe that's kind of all the time. Even if they've been studying the time period, it's maybe that's very specific detail they might not have touched on. My problem is that as soon as like he's in this altercation with these security guards and he has to fight one of them off, I'm like, well, they're going to be looking for you now. They're going to be looking for the car now. It feels very like you should have maybe dumped it first chance you got. And rather than being on the run and being chased and having Carly come and pick you up.
Maybe I missed something, but why did he necessarily need to get the car? Because then he just abandons it anyway.
Well, because the story is going to be that he was never on the plane. Like,
right,
no one's going to ever know he's on the plane, but his car's sitting at the airport, so he goes to get it.
I mean, that'd be cool if the airport didn't keep records. That
is true. That again, he didn't buy the ticket. Someone else bought a ticket and gave it to him.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I don't know if they keep records of all the passports going through.
I mean, they not for domestic flights.
Yeah, well.
No, thinking about it, domestic flights, they don't.
It was definitely not as exciting as the last episode, certainly. But I think it did a lot of good stuff for their character, their relationship, and the weird mixed relationship that it is because it's like it's not really him, but part of the memories are still lingering in there. Because that was my first thought when I was like seeing these memories. I'm like, oh, these are the real MacLaren's memories, and
they had to be, didn't they?
Yeah, of course they had to be. But like he's like so still part of him in there. Like there's still like a fragment of him.
Yeah, I feel like it explains beyond just him, like Carly and her son. Like, it explains that connection.
The connection's still kind of there. They still feel the remnants of that feeling.
When he has that kind of vision of her inside his head and explains what's going on, it says, "Oh, these are the strongest, brightest kind of memories, the only ones that survived." So I feel like it makes sense that with Carly, that would be the connection with her son.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess maybe they've all got something like that. That just a little bit of it of the original.
There you go. That's episode 10 of Travellers.
I'm looking forward to the last couple. Don't get me wrong.
It was pretty good. Just a couple of again minor complaints, but I feel like even something as simple as Carly getting Philip in the police cars like round the corner and Philip's like hiding. That was well done, well shot, nice and tense to a point. Not super tense, but enough for what it needed to be.
Enough, yeah. And again, it's really playing on these close-ups of the faces and the eyes. We got a lot on MacLaren when he's kind of inside his own head.
Yeah, and again, going back to that van moment, the whole idea that Carly distracts the cops by the whole coffee on her lap and she's wiping it down and she's being a bit of a klutz. The idea that the camera, we never see Philip move. We are just revealed that he's like snuck round to the back of the van and he's holding on to that for just a little bit as the cop car goes away.
Yeah.
But we don't see it happen. We're actually put in the same place as the cops with the camera work where we don't, because it is like a sleight of hand. Like they could have seen him running from the edge.
But they're paying attention to her.
And that's what we're doing. So it's this cool thing where it puts us in the same place as the characters.
I didn't rewatch it to see if you could see him because obviously I was just focused on her.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you could actually just see him if you were looking for it.
I don't think so. I've not went back and checked. But my instinct would say no.
I agree,
that still works because it's emulating that feeling.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But no, that's episode 10 of Travellers, and we've got 2 left. Presumably, I don't know if it's a 2-parter, but it should be ramping up to the finale in the next one. So we'll have both of those reviews up tomorrow. So thanks for bearing with us. This has been a little bit slower than we normally get through these binge watch shows, but it's been the week between Christmas and New Year's and family commitments and whatever else.
Yeah, don't you worry. We'll be back on track with all the January binges.
Oh god, yeah. There's at least 2 from Netflix we know of that we're going to be looking into. We have new shows starting as early as next week, first week of the year. We have Emerald City coming from NBC. We've got Taboo coming from FX. We're even trying a show from Freeform, which probably won't last, but we'll try.
And then, of course, you got the return of Sherlock.
Yeah, New Year's Day, that's hitting. So this ended up being a plug for everything coming next week. I didn't mean that to be, but thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you think of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Helps us out a lot if you do. We'll see you next time.